Everyone. My name is Brittney, and I have Jade here with us. And this is episode 1 of Regenerating with B. And I'm really excited, also really nervous. So both will exist at once, and we're going to flow with it. Um, I really want this time to be spent on sharing who I am, how I show up, my journey, because as we go on this journey together, I feel that it's important for me to be vulnerable so that my community can trust me. And as we cultivate a safe space, knowing that I see them, there's no judgment, right? There's no shame. We're all here trying to figure life out. We all want peace. We all want ease. We want flow. And so I feel like it's important to first acknowledge who I am. And there's no better person to facilitate this conversation than Jade, who met me in 2020, um, and read my birth chart for me for the first time. And I'm like, how does she know all these things about me? And she doesn't even she doesn't even know me.
Yeah, just a little bit of magic and um it's a beautiful thing to be able to be a mirror to someone and let them see their magic. Yeah.
So Jade, before we get started in the facilitation of you guiding me through this process, can you share a little bit about yourself and how you show up?
Sure. Yeah. Um I am a Gemini, controversial, but I'm proud of Gemini culture. We're having a great season, by the way. Uh And yeah, I am an astrologer and spiritualist. I am a former school teacher. I am finishing my MSW degree. It should be done in August. I'm a doula.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
I think I really embody that Gemini energy, multifaceted, full of multitudes, multi-talented. Um, yeah, I like to design new ways of living and being and doing and practice that like constant evolution and embodiment. Um, yeah, that's a little summary of me. I'm Fresno based. That's where we met. Proud Valley girl, not the typical valley like our valley. So
Right.
yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's 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 a little bit about me.
Thank you so much for sharing. I feel that it's important for people to know who you are. And also, before we get started, are you accepting clients at this
Oh my
time for
goodness.
coaching? No pressure.
In the fall.
Okay.
So I, with my little astrology rhythms, I kind of go through my own like
Mhm.
ebbs and flows. So I'm on a little bit of a sabbatical so I can do some study. I'm finishing up my MSW and also my expressive arts therapy training. And when the doors open in the fall, we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, you all heard it in the fall. I'll make sure to share Jade's information because she's amazing. Jade, thank you so much for doing this with me. This means so much to me. And I cannot believe we're in 2025. I'll just say that because I met you in 2020.
What a portal.
And the evolution has been real.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a privilege to just like watch you glow up, you know?
Mm.
And you came
And
to
it
me already shining. So, you know,
it's a privilege to cultivate sisterhood with you when we didn't know each other, right? Like never crossed paths. It was someone like recommended me to you, but for us to like connect and stay connected and to see each other, hear each other, respect each other is such
yeah.
a beautiful thing. And I'm really grateful for that.
Mm, I'm receiving it. You know me, I'm like, but I'm receiving it. Thank you.
Oh,
Can we talk about you?
yes, even though I'm nervous, but yes, we can talk about me because that's why we're here.
Please. Okay, so we have regenerating with B, which I love. Um, and I want to know a little bit about what led you to creating regenerating with B. And like, what do you mean when you say regenerating with B? Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember in 2021 when you and I were working together and you were coaching me, we talked about this happening,
Yeah.
evolving. And I remember I was panicking to you like, "What? Like this is a lot. This is a lot." And you were like, "Let's just start off of what would you name it?" Right? And when I think about my journey of how many times I felt like I died, but I was reborn, it reminds me of the seasons. And I love being outside, but we go through fall, yeah, spring. And when fall happens, it's that time
Mhm.
to regenerate. It's the time to reset. It's the time to retreat. It's the time to get yourself together to bounce back when spring comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was important for me to say regenerate because healing is constant. It'll be through our lifetime. The same with regenerating. We're going to go through things and we're going to have to regenerate. We're going to have to get back out there. We're going to have to keep moving even though we feel that we don't want to. But the only way to make progress is to regenerate when something happens.
Yeah. I love that. I want to know because I'm here. I heard you mention spring. I think I'm curious about how you feel about your winters and like how those have been supportive to you.
So, this winter was actually very busy, very, very busy with family, which I'm really appreciative of. However, I paid close attention to that break that you get with people that celebrate Christmas, and then going into the new year of that in between stage. And that's the time where usually I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I have to have everything planned. I got to have the house clean. New Year's is about to be here." I didn't do none of that. I rested, I ate, I rejoiced with family, I let the laundry pile up. I focused on being present with the things I love and the people that I love. And it was a time just to just be and not be so focused on what's next. I got to get ready for this next season. There are seasons where we can enjoy. We can just be, ease and flow. And so
Mhm.
this was the first winter for me where I was like, I'm chilling.
Yes. Yes, there's something really beautiful about allowing yourself to really winter so that you can regenerate.
Yeah.
Um, you kind of shared a little bit about this, but I'm wondering what does regenerating mean to you personally, and what is that looking like in this season?
Ooh, regenerating to me, when I think about all the things that I've gone through, good and bad, life experiences, and aging, I also feel as we get older, wiser, more mature, we have to regenerate in the way that we think, maybe the way that we operate or move. And so personally, for me, I feel that regenerating means having to go through something hard, whether it's grief, because you have to make a decision and it's the best decision, even though you may not be able to take certain people with you or certain systems. You gotta be able to feel it, learn from it, identify what you can control, and move forward and
Yeah.
cultivate that to move towards healing. So for me, when I think about, when we first met in 2020, I had felt like I didn't know who I was. I felt like I was always catering to everybody else or adapting to whatever everybody else wanted me to be, or, their narrative. And then when I wanted to trust myself, I was scared. And then when I reached out for therapy and I was going through the process of having to let things die, relationships
Mm,
die, jobs die, the way I perceive the world die, just so many things die, but it also regenerating at that same time in 2020 going into 2021, the things that died allowed for things to be born.
mhm,
So it was, even though I had went through different painful things, it also made space for me to experience different and new and happy and joy. And I got to be conscious of the decisions I was making. I got to feel secure and confident in the decisions I was making. And so I regenerating is so personal to me because it's the ing at the end. Like it's
mhm,
constant, it's not,
mhm.
it's like I said, regenerate. I'm constantly going to be regenerating because life does not stop.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you and I have talked about this feeling of, like, we're not separate from nature, and there's
Mhm.
something really beautiful about, like, leaning into the fact that, we are nature, like, we need to let things die in our winters, whatever those are, right? Sometimes they're
Mhm.
cozy and spaces for rest, and sometimes they're cold as fuck, like
Yeah, yeah.
like, and you gotta let things die, like, you gotta let things, like the leaves fall and remember that that's like what becomes fertilizer for things to grow in the spring. And it can be ugly, but once you get into that flow and you get into your season and your rhythm, there's something really beautiful about really respecting your nature and knowing when to rest and knowing when to push, and when to regenerate. I love it.
Yes. And it's all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to know, like you talked about that feeling of maybe not knowing yourself and like reflecting on then versus where you are now, that feeling of regeneration. And I'm curious, like, what are some of those pivotal moments that shaped that regeneration or sort of acted as fertilizer, like we kind of talked about?
Yeah. So I have an oh, I got an alarm going off. I it really started when I got my master's degree in counseling. And the funny thing about that, Jade, is I went into it thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna be able to help others because that's what I've done all my life as the oldest child, and, I'm a fixer, and well, it fixed me."
For
It fixed me,
sure.
and it had me questioning a lot about the people I was interacting, the system that I worked for or in, the way of life, the way I was living my life, to take assessment of how I was feeling, and most importantly, my daughters.
Mhm.
Um, Looking at them and thinking, would I want my life where I am right now, would I want this for them?
Yeah.
I was like, hell no. Like, so that was really, I feel that when I was going through the master's program and then meeting people who I'm still close to this day, and being vulnerable to say like, okay, the stuff that we're reading about in these books, it's happening to me.
Right.
So
Yeah.
how am I supposed to go fix this or, be supportive when I got all this shit going on, right? So that was a
Mhm.
pivotal moment. As a good therapist, as a good counselor, you should never condemn or condone when you're dealing with someone. But you can't get there if you haven't healed or you're not healing, right? Because you'll have biases, you'll have trauma. So a good therapist, a good counselor will go through this journey of
Mhm.
self-discovery and healing and identifying, you know, areas to evolve, so to make sure that they're best helping the people that they serve in the community. So that was that. and then it was, I got the degree, I got the house, I got the kids, I got the husband, I got this job, we look so clean and nice on the outside, but
Yeah.
nobody has an idea of what's going on the inside. And then the people that do have an idea look up to me and I'm like, well, you're doing it. You're making it happen. And it's like, but I'm dying. I'm slowly
Right.
dying. My career, working for the third largest school district in California. And the best way I can describe that experience to people is when you're innocent and you think Santa Claus is real.
Yeah. I I relate to you. I really do. I think we talked about this. And I think that, like, I don't wanna like, bypass also how much of this has to do with you being a Black woman, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I know you like, I know you know, but I think, like, I wanna center that because, when you're talking about, like, I did all the things, I'm like, yeah, because I think we are taught to sort of achieve other people's dreams for us, and
Yep.
there's something different about shifting into that, "Actually, it's my dream, for me, by me," and it can really, like you said, feel like, "Oh, there's no more Santa Claus," because all of a sudden, all the positive feedback can get a lot more quiet, and it's just
Hmm.
you, and it's just sort of holding on to and, like, regenerating from a place where, there's no Santa Claus, it's cold outside, snows all around, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. People are racist. People
Yeah.
don't want uh community. People don't want unity. People don't want equity. Like it's being on a hamster wheel and realizing all these things. And I'm like, I'm going to kill myself trying to do all these things that people told me that I had to do as a Black woman. I'm done. I am
Mhm.
done. And you know what the crazy thing is, and we don't have to spend much time on it, is that it took another Black woman to hurt me for it to be another
Mm.
pivotal moment in my life to be like, whoa, I thought, wait, I thought we all come together. I thought we're all in this fight together. Wait, I'm confused. Why are we hurting each other?
Yeah. I'm like, "Ooh." Um, I mean, and that's the scary thing, or, like, I think that one of the hardest things, right, is realizing that you are a mirror for other people's perceived limitations. So when you start to try to regenerate or glow up or reach for more, there's going to be someone who goes, I don't believe in that reality. I still believe in Santa Claus, and you're interrupting that reality."
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a special kind of hurt. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes you, or at least it made me feel crazy. It made me feel crazy to know, okay, I want everything to be good, not my good. I'm not defining what good is, right? I want people to have what they need, but I want peace. I want joy. But why does it feel so hard? It should not be this hard.
Yeah.
And, being told, you have to go to college, you have to graduate, you have to get a job, get a pension, then you retire, and it's like that, this can't be life.
Yeah.
This cannot be life.
Why am I so tired in my dream life? Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Um, I wanna know, like, how did healing and your spirituality and this regeneration sorta carry you from that, I don't Santa Claus isn't real, I don't know what to do place to, like, this is my life, for me, by me.
it took one, people like you to be in my circle, right? I mean, I feel your love, I feel your energy. We don't talk every day, but I know that if I ever needed you, you would give me what you could, right? And I would understand, and vice versa, right? To
For
know that
sure.
there's people who see me, and I feel loved. I feel, not that other people don't love me, but I feel home. I feel like I can be me. I can say what I feel. It that's what it took for me to just start trusting myself to say, no, I'm not doing this.
Hmm.
And I'm not being disrespectful if I'm saying no, because these are the solutions I'm offering, and what we're doing ain't working.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Right. And then so when we talk about spirituality, during my time with you, I have grown so much closer to my grandmother, who is no longer physically on earth, but I feel her with me all the time, to where when I think about her, I don't miss her in that way because she's with me. Like, even like across the screen, I had like this like little glare that never happens, and all of a sudden, so there's just
Yeah.
little things that I'm like, I see you fairly. All right, sis, I see you. During our time, you really challenged me to really sit with myself. And when I sat alone, I really started to think about my ancestors, specifically the
Hmm.
women, right? Like my mother, my grandmother's mother, like, and then even on my dad's side, the maternal women, and thinking about like what would they want for me?
Yeah.
And coming to the realization, it wasn't what others are saying. It's not to get the job, to get the husband, to do all these things and not check in with yourself before doing these things. It was, you deserve to rest. There is resistance in rest. The most important thing during this entire process was spending time alone.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't under I don't want to say don't understand that, but a lot of people don't think I spent time alone. They think I just, jumped from one relationship to another, or marriage, and then to this
Yeah.
relationship, and I moved to Georgia, but I spent a lot of time
You did.
alone.
You did. Yeah.
And I think it's so important to sit with yourself. Like, even past the point it feels like, one, this is stupid. Two, I'm uncomfortable. Like, what am I doing? Like, to really lean in. And there's this song that I play all the time, Lauryn Hill, Peace of Mind.
Hmm.
And Alicia, who I used to work with, I remember I tell her, I was like, man, I can't meditate. Like, there's just so much going through my mind. I can't. And she was like, listen to this song. Like, this song is so beautiful. And from that day, since that time, she told me in 2019, it's been number one every time on my Apple. That is my, that is my song. Like, I get it, I hear it. And that song, each time I hear it, it means something different. I've learned something
Mm,
different. It centers me. It allows me to be present. But in order for me to regenerate, I have to put myself first. I have
yeah.
to pause. I have to assess, what does Brittney need, and not dismissing it, and realizing that when I dismiss what I need, I'm hindering my journey. And also like I'm allowing things to also happen at the same time that I can essentially control.
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning, when all the transitions happened from, walking away from $100,000, job as a single mother, going through a divorce, having to sit and hear people say, "Oh my gosh, you have the telling me about my life and how perfect my life
Hmm.
is," to trust myself and just say, "Nah." In the beginning, it was anger. It was like, "How dare all y'all play me? How dare y'all play me when I give everything? I give my love. I give love first in everything that I do." I truly believe that everyone should have the same pursuit of happiness. Like, everyone should be able to pursue happiness. So it came with anger in the beginning, but then once I was able to just really sit with my ancestors, sit with Fairly the most,
Hmm.
gardening. something I would never do. I started to garden. I started to sit outside. Uh, all I do now is sit outside here. Chris is always just like, you need to come in. You don't ever come inside. I would live outside if I could, but just getting away from the noise, just getting away of just getting away from it all so you can pay attention and you're
Yeah.
not distracted by what's going on. That
And
probably makes no
and
sense.
no, it does make sense. And I just want to say for everyone who is going to listen that right now you're obviously in this beautiful property, like the ideal place to be outside and get away. But I knew you when you were like, I'm gonna lock this door so my girls don't walk in on us, like so I can have my
Yes.
my hour with you, like or like sending me the picture and being like, I'm in my little backyard with my little garden and my pots, like you made it work and embodied what you're talking about when it was difficult and when it was small. And I picture like a little snowball, like you started small and rolled your way up
Hmm.
and have expanded. And it came from that commitment that you're talking about of like, I'm going to sit with myself, even when I only have 2 minutes at the end of the day to sit with myself, because that counts, right? Like you made that investment in yourself when you had pennies to invest, it felt like.
Yes. Woo. Girl.
Um,
Yes.
and it adds up. Like there's compound interest in that sort of investment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And thank you
Yeah.
for the reminder because you don't acknowledge it when you're in it, and sometimes I don't even it takes you or someone else to pause and be like, Brittney, do you realize what you went through? Like,
Yeah.
did you forget? And I'm like, I didn't forget, but I was committed. I was committed to picking my hard. In my mind,
Yeah.
I'm like, both are going to be hard. Going through a divorce is hard. No one gets married to get divorced, right?
Yeah.
But staying in an unhealthy marriage is also hard. So, which hard do I want to pick? And sometimes we're scared to pick what we don't know. And there's a lot of times I think about the nights that I've cried after Aubrey Neva, went to sleep and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for this, or I got to sit up and I got to coordinate, daycare and my parents and trying to figure out help while still trying to make sure I have time for myself, or you know going in my closet because they're in my bed because they want to sleep with me at night and I'm crying in my closet, and to having us we moved out of our home to getting our home back and me not having money to figure it out but turning it into an Airbnb, using my last of my retirement to make this happen, and not knowing if it was going to work. I
Mhm.
mean, going through some really lonely, lonely times and having to look myself in the mirror and say, if no one's told you today that they've loved you, I love you. Saying that to
Mhm.
myself, like, I love you. Keep going, feeling my grandmother. I mean, feel her, like I said, all the time. But during that moment, her spirit just being with me and knowing like I don't know what's on the other side, but it's got to be better than this. Like, just, keep going.
Yeah.
It's okay. And even during the hard, still acknowledging, like you said, the snowball, right? Like walking away from a career, moving into, I was a contractor. I was full time, like contractor, didn't have benefits, could be
Yeah.
let go at any time. And like going in it with faith, like, okay, I'm just gonna hustle. I'm gonna hustle for Aubrey and Ava and for myself. We're gonna figure it out. To getting a job at Fresno City College, doing that 3 days a week. Like, it was, keep going. It's hard, but there was still peace. There was still, at the end of my night, in my townhome, it was like, this is mine.
Yeah.
I can go outside and I can sit outside for as long as I want. And no one's going to say, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? You know, why do you got these crystals? Why do you got this? Why do you, nobody, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, but and that's like the generational wealth that we don't talk about, right? Because a lot of the times I think like grind for what and like for who? Like but when the grind is for is like investing in yourself and like building peace, right? Something that like your children are gonna be able to witness and know and recognize like their baseline is gonna be that kind of understanding of what it looks like to invest in themselves, to know what it
Yep.
looks like to invest in their joy, to pursue that, right? To work hard, just as hard as you were in your in that other life, right? But like
Right.
for with purpose, in alignment, right? Surrounded by people who are matching and in alignment with that. Because that's what happens, right? When we are disconnected from ourselves in that way, we go looking
Yep.
for like we go pursuing other people's dreams. We accept less
Yes.
than,
Woo.
we're afraid to be with ourselves, right? Like, so that's generational wealth, you know, that kind of like, here's peace, here's what it looks like. This is a reference point for you. This is something worth protecting. This is something worth grinding for. You did that.
100%. 100%. And that is exactly how I feel. And the baseline has changed. You know, I say it's changed because even it with Aubrey and Ava, sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, we're late." And I'm like, chill. Who gonna check you? I'm your mama.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, you forgot your poster board. But the old Brittany was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you know,
Mhm.
they don't experience that anymore. And I lost the contracting that I was doing, right? Got let go, right? But I invested all that time at Fresno City, right? My emergency fund, like I got to ease. So they do get to see, they get to see peace. They get to see and I'm transparent. And I let them know that life ain't no fairy tale. You asked me earlier, like, what am I regenerating from today? What I'm regenerating from today currently is my nervous system healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even though I know I'm safe, my body has lived in such a high stressed environment, excuse me, for such a long time as a little girl, young adult, career, you know, that I have to do a lot of work some days to be able to enjoy what's behind me. Cause
Yeah.
if I'm not well, all this behind me don't matter.
Mhm.
It don't matter.
Yeah. And yeah, I think I was talking to someone about this, that it's a privilege to be triggered. And like triggered has this like, you know, snowflake connotation, people make fun of it. But I'm like, no, it's a privilege to be safe enough to have a feeling rise up in me and I'm not lashing out, I'm not reacting. I'm responding. I'm meeting that need, right? And that means that the people I have relationships with really get to know me. Like your girls are really going to get to know and they get to know their mother. How many of us wish that was the case? I
That's so
wish
true.
I could know my mother the way that your girls get to know you, that get to see you embody and like through all of these different evolutions of who you are, to be brave in that way, to be bold in that way. That's beautiful. And it's as simple as you said, is like I've got to regulate my nervous system, right? And it's taken carving out that kind of peace and that baseline. You did that. I'm going to say it again, like you did that. You're doing it.
Thank you. I'm going to receive it. I'm going to receive that. Thank you. Thank you.
Please.
And
Yeah.
I feel truly privileged to give Aubrey and Ava and Naya this, to give them me in the most authentic way
Mhm.
possible, down to them seeing me love Chris, them
Yeah.
seeing, you know, them seeing me navigate being an entrepreneur, them seeing me rest, them seeing me at my worst, them seeing me snap and apologize and say, you know what, my bad, I'm sorry. That was not
Yeah.
okay. Your
Yeah.
behavior was not okay. However, the way I responded was not okay. And I
Yeah.
apologize. I'm grateful to create or to be a part of creating, because I'm not their whole world, but a calm nervous system, I hope. That is my hope for them
Yeah.
to just flow and ease and flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm excited for this podcast because I don't think people realize that ease and flow sounds like woo woo and like abstract, but it takes a lot of discipline. And so, with that in mind, like, what else can we expect from this space? Like, I want to know what's the next episode about? Like, what are we gonna hear?
It's gonna be a lot because ease and flow looks like, the crash out is what the kids say now. That's what Aubrey be saying. Like, I'm about to crash out. Ease and flow is not crashing out. Ease and flow is, how do I
Mm-hmm.
deal with a relationship with a family member? How do
Yeah.
I co-parent? How
Mm-hmm.
do I navigate therapy and know that I've found the right therapist? Because that
Right.
happens too right now. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something huge that I do want to start off with in the podcast is doing your own research and going with what feels best for you. Everybody's mental health journey will look different and feel different.
Yeah.
It's a thing now, right? Everybody's a therapist, everybody's a healer, everybody's
Yeah.
a counselor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Navigating who is really for you and who is aligned to help you along the journey. And also what therapy is not. Therapy is not somebody throwing the answers at you and fixing your life.
Mm-mm. No, but yeah, and I'm like, and I'm especially for Black folks, like, I'm like, this is no. Don't let someone tell you what your medicine is. Like, that's step one. You know what your medicine is. It should feel, there should be a certain level of comfort. It doesn't have to go down like, like it can feel good. It's not
Yes.
easy, but it can feel good. You should start to feel better. Like, you shouldn't be leaving anxious. Don't let someone tell
Yes.
you what your medicine is.
Yes. Yes. And feel empowered and interview the
Mhm.
person, right?
Yeah.
And when it's no longer working, thank you for your time. It's no
Mhm.
longer working. And it's okay to have different therapists in your lifetime. I mean, I started
Yeah.
off with a female who, she was older. I loved her to death, loved her, but she was a yes woman. She kept yesing me. And I was like, no, girl,
Yeah.
I'm wrong. What I did was wrong. And I need you to tell me what I did was wrong. Cause you over here telling me that was not wrong and it was wrong.
Yeah.
To a male therapist, a Black male who allowed me to heal and love Black men again, like,
Yeah.
and our
Yeah.
time was done. He actually like he kicked me out. He was like, "We're
Yeah.
done." Like,
When your
you,
therapist breaks up with you, you're like,
yeah. I try to text him or email him from time to time. He's like, "What's up?" Like, we're done. Like, but I need you. And so now I have a female therapist that's local where I'm at, and I absolutely love her. Like,
Mhm.
and the conversations are different. I'm in a different space, And that's another
Yeah.
thing is this space will be to talk about things that people don't like to talk about in a sense of, well, I prayed for this. I prayed for kids and my kids drive me fucking crazy.
Mhm.
You know, it's okay. It's
For
okay
sure.
that your kids, what are you doing for you?
Mhm.
Like, you got to tap back in for you, make time for you. If it's the
Y
closet, make the closet it. If it's the bathroom, make the bathroom it. I mean, I had to do it. My car,
yeah.
like, them
Yeah.
kids will be okay, but it's it sounds easy, but it's not easy because then there's that guilt. I've experienced it of just like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, what if this is a core
Yeah.
memory? Oh my gosh, my kids are gonna hate me because I slipped away for 5 minutes." No, they actually love me more because I came back happy and smiling
Yeah.
and giving them attention.
Yeah, and, like, good work isn't always as clean as performing, you know? So you can perform and look like the perfect whatever spouse, mom, dad, sister, but, like, when you're really doing good work, sometimes it'll look like your life is blowing up to everybody else, and that's that feeling of being crazy, and that's where you just gotta be like, "This is me, I'm in my zone, I'm locked in."
My crash out will eventually make sense. It'll
Yeah,
eventually make sense.
yeah, yeah, my what you're seeing as a crash out, that's my glow up, leave me alone, give it a second, give it a second. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I want to talk about a lot of different things that seem so big to others and, to myself. I mean, being in a relationship and navigating, getting married. I,
Mhm.
I'm scared to get married. I love my man, but I am terrified. I
Yeah.
mean, and just having space where two things can exist at once, because
Yeah.
sometimes I experienced it and I wish that I had this space where I would try to seek someone to talk to because I needed help. I needed someone to help me see see reality. Like,
Yeah.
was what I'm perceiving, was it reality? Like, am I being gaslit? Like, am I living in a fog? And for everyone to just be like, it's okay. Like, it's not that
Right.
bad. It could be worse. So and so
Right.
has it worse. Two things can be true at once. The other person can be going through it and you can be going through it too. We're not going to sit here and compare who has it worse.
Right. That's not helpful. And what is that for? Like, that's why I'm always like, again, nervous system regulation, feeling comfortable in your own reality, right? All of that. It's always like, does this have anything to do with me? Like your feelings about my moves, or my fears,
It's
which is
like,
really hard, you know? Yeah. With that in mind, though, like, who are we welcoming into this space? And what are you hoping they take away?
I'm still learning who this space is for. I want to say Black women,
Mhm.
right? However, it could potentially be open to all, and people take what they need. I say initially the Black woman because I am a Black woman,
Mhm.
and I know how many times, as I mentioned earlier, that I needed relief, I needed comfort, I needed safety, I needed a space where someone wasn't telling me what to do, but encouraging me to trust myself. And as Black women, we don't get that often. We don't.
Yeah.
And I would love to just create space to have conversations, and to learn from each other. That's why I do want to have other people on with me. Um, because I truly feel we can heal by learning from others and listening to others and being heard.
Yeah.
And I know as Black women, we don't feel that we're being heard.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's part of why our connection has felt so special, you know? Yeah. There's something really magical about being a Black woman, loving another Black woman, the way that shows up in different areas of life. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And loving you and what you do, and no matter what it is, as long as it's morally and ethically, but right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we are so different, but we also
Mhm.
are the same.
Yeah.
And I love
Yeah.
that. And I want to build more of that where it's safe for us to do so, and it's not so mainstream. It's not so dramatic, you know. We all deserve to feel peace and ease. And it doesn't have to look like what's behind me. There was a lot of times where I felt peace and ease in my car, in the closet, outside. I had a tiny little space backyard and I made the best out of it. And I went out there every night and sat in my little chair and smiled and
Mhm.
was so happy. You know, the best thing that I learned is I like to travel, but when I'm traveling, I sit somewhere and I'll just try to capture the moment and I'll journal about it, how it sounds, what am I tasting, just everything. And I like to bring that back home because
Mm.
peace isn't just like a destination. It should be in our everyday, and we should be able to feel that. Not every day is going to be perfect. That's another thing. Peace doesn't mean like it's perfect or things don't happen. Peace is just when you can just sit and just feel safe and feel at ease and trusting yourself that no matter what, everything's going to be okay. Even when it's not okay, it still ends up being okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. I think that that's kind of the takeaway, right? That you
Mhm.
want for people to just be able to know, like, hey, peace starts within you. That's something you get to carry, and it's okay. It's okay to be where you're at, regenerating. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
I want to. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
Not us doing this. Okay, okay. Yeah, I want to know. I know you mentioned this before about, yeah, like everybody's a therapist, everybody, is a healer. You know how I feel about that term. Um, I'm like, let other people say it for you. Like, it's okay. Um, yeah. Yeah, everyone's coaching now. Everyone's got a podcast, and I'm here. I know what sort of beautiful medicine is going to exist here, but I want to hear from you. Like, why is this different? Why do you feel like you have something, special or different to offer?
I ask myself that every day when God nudges me, my ancestors nudge me, and it's a message. And I'm like, can I just keep this message to myself? Like, why does this message so good that you want me to share it, with others? Or knowing that in my lifetime, I have been able to help others heal. And it's almost like this analogy is gonna be funny. It's almost like being Superwoman, right? Like I'm Superwoman, I got the glasses, I'm out here, got my garden, got my joint,
Yeah.
minding my business, headphones on, and you just hear all this stuff going around, right? You see people who are in need, you see people who could really benefit from guidance. Who could really benefit from someone just being authentic and honest and not trying to, you know, get one up on them or, oh, try my new ebook or try, this. It's like just genuine. That
Yeah.
is me. But as I'm in my garden, I'm telling Spirit, I'm telling God, like, I just want to be here. I want to mind my business. And it's just like, nope, take
Mhm.
those gloves off.
Yep.
Take it off. I'm not telling you to go save the world,
Right.
but I'm telling you to not suffocate your gift. And if it flows, let it flow and don't
Yeah.
worry about the rest, right? And so I say that to say that this will find those who it needs to find.
Yeah.
And when it finds them, I hope that it makes them smile. If it makes them cry, that they release, that it has them feeling seen. It allows them to feel okay.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest thing, because like you said, everybody, and that's why I was hesitant, because everybody has a podcast, everybody's has the advice, everybody has,
Yeah.
I'm not everybody else because I'm not gonna be doing all of that, and people might see it already with regenerating be my Instagram. There's some days where I'm super active, I'm on there, I'm engaging, and there's days I'm quiet. I want to be an example because what we see on Instagram and Facebook is not always real. Some of it is for the people out there that putting themselves out there and being authentic, but some of it is not because I know creators who are healers and they're pushing all this out, but it's not an authentic message.
Yeah.
They're exhausted. They're not living the life that they're portraying, right? Before I even launched this podcast, I spent all last year getting myself together, right? Because I said, if I'm going to be a part of someone's journey of healing, I have to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable. What makes me different is I'm going to hold myself accountable to do the work, right? I spent last year losing weight, not about it being about physical, but it being about my mental and being
Mhm.
healthy in all ways. So I'm checking off the boxes and walking this journey with people who are listening. I'm not just sitting back like, oh, I've arrived. I got it figured out. Buy
Yeah.
my book.
Right.
I really don't want to put, I don't want to put out a book. I don't want to put out a book. I don't want to, I don't want, but again, I don't know what's going to happen. I want to be as authentic as possible and to not seem like I'm higher than others, or people look at me and look like, "Oh, I can never get to where she's at." Yes, you can. Cuz where I'm
Yeah.
at is peace. Where I'm at is I could walk away with everything that I have right now and still be me
Mhm.
and be okay cuz I've done it before
Yeah.
and I have
Yeah.
more in a
Yeah.
different way.
Yeah. I think, I think what I'm hearing you say is this is an opportunity for people to invest in themselves if they want. And you're not trying to pretend like you have all the answers. You're not trying to sell them an ebook or a coaching session. You're just saying, "Hey, if you don't got anything but time to give, make a little space. You belong here. Let's talk. There's room for you. This could be a space where you feel seen and heard, and maybe there'll be a little bit of medicine if you want it." But
Mhm.
it's a beautiful offering. And
Yes. It's
yeah, and I think you are really truly one of the most authentic people that I know. I think that even in your journey, like, I think there's like when you came to me, I just felt that like, earnest and like grounded desire to like be about it, right? Like there was it's like there was no there it was like sincere and like I just want to figure this out. Like can you sit with
yeah.
me? And I think you're looking for those people who are like, I don't really know where to start, but like I need someone to sit with me. And you're like, come sit with me. Let's
yeah.
talk.
yes, come sit with me. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here. And if you want more, we can talk about coaching,
Yeah.
and if you don't, this is here. This is free. This is this is an offering. This is
Yeah.
an affirmation. This is a word, you
Yeah.
know, whether it reaches one person or 1 million,
Mhm.
I'm okay. And I had to do the work before launching all of this to be okay because as a business owner, social media, the culture can get you caught up in thinking that you have to have, your branding and this and that. And I'm like, I'm not. Everything will come as it should, and I'm
Yeah.
not concerned about numbers, or followers. I
Yeah.
just want to hold space because the world is can be a beautiful place if we all take a chance to heal.
Yeah. That's the dream. Yeah. I mean, even if we all invest just 2 minutes a day, it could be a better place. If we all just listen to Brittany's podcast. What is one self-care ritual that you swear by?
okay. People can think I'm bougie. It's fine, but I swear by a massage. Okay.
Yeah.
It don't have to be fancy. You can go, to the mall if they still have where they do the massage.
Y
I swear by a massage to where I try to treat myself once a month to a massage. And
Mhm.
lately I've been I'll just go to the nicest hotel and I'll just do the spa. I won't get anything else. I'll get a
Yeah.
spa and the complimentary champagne and I'll just be up in there all day.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being bougie.
No,
Hey.
I
Yeah.
swear by it, and I swear by it because you can't be on your phone, you
Uh-huh.
have to be disconnected, it's quiet in there, it's dim, so, yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely something when I swear by, like, there's nothing like getting a massage.
Mm. I love it. Yes. Okay, I think our last question is, what is bringing you joy right now? I think this is especially important with everything going on in the world. Okay, I think our last question is, what is bringing you joy right now? I think this is especially important with everything going on in the world.
With everything going on in the world right now, what brings me joy is the blended family that Chris and I have created. I
Mm,
truly feel like I love the chaos that happens in my house. Chaotic moments are so hilarious. Like Aubrey dancing or playing her instrument randomly, Ava telling us the latest gossip at school, Anaya telling us about what she wants. It's just always something going on, and it makes me feel like those TV shows you see growing up, like, I hate to say the Cosbys, but the Cosbys, it's still a classic,
N
but
Yeah, no, but I think that's beautiful. Like, we all want the TV family, and so we go through, again, like, that dream, like, here's what it looks like, but you get that TV family when you live as authentically as you do, and you, like, let your kids be authentic and you spend time. It's beautiful.
yeah, that brings me the most joy. It's just this time in my life, like, it's I love the ages that they all are at, emerging into teenagers, and I'm growing too. I'm in my mid-30s,
Yeah,
growing, and it as that brings me the most joy.
love. Alright,
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Um,
Jade,
yeah,
for
thank you.
guiding me through this experience. It was beautiful, as it always is. Good conversation. I feel that there's a lot of takeaways, and hopefully people feel even closer to me, connected to me. Um, as far as frequency wise, my goal is to have a podcast episode every other week.
Perfect.
However, I'm all about ease and flow, so we'll see how it goes.
Mhm.
But to those who are listening, if you would love to connect with me, have a conversation, hop on, tap in, please let me know. Reach out. And then I will make sure to link Jade's Instagram. So when fall comes and you're interested in
Please.
some readings and some coaching, her information is there. And I hope that you all continue to follow me on this journey as we regenerate together.
Yes. Hell yes. Thank you. It's been a privilege.
Thank you.